Hello, welcome back. This video will walk you through finding an article through our library databases at Nova. When you are in Blackboard, you could actually click on the Research tab. And the Research tab will take you to the library Blackboard site. You'll want to click on Homepage, and that will take you to the libraries for all of the Nova campuses. You look at books and ebooks, which we covered in the first video. Now we're going to look at articles. Since you're going to be doing research on an author and his works or her works, when we're looking at articles, it's probably a good idea to use database by subjects. But you can actually use recommended databases for most topics. Most of you can go into Academic Search Complete and do a search there. So we'll go ahead and do that first. Academic Search Complete kind of just does a broad search of some of the most popular and top used databases. So let's click on that and we'll bring up EBSCOhost. And so what you'll want to do is most of you will be working with an author and an author's work. More than likely the best thing to do is to first type in the title of the work. So let's just use the Cask of Amontillado as an example. So let's type in and search. So if you notice that we have 35 different articles on the Cask of Amontillado. One thing that you want to make sure that you do when you're using the library databases is that you refine your search so that you aren't reading 35 different articles. One thing that you want to do is look over the side, especially in EBSCOhost. You'll see how you can refine your results. You'll want to limit it to definitely full text, so make sure that you click on full text. That way you'll actually be able to read those articles. If it's not available in full text, you can't use it. Also, we want to go ahead and use scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Those are the most credible journals and those are the most credible articles. So let's go ahead and do that. That brings us down to 17. So we've cut it in half of what we actually might want to look through to make sure that we aren't wasting our time. You also can limit it to references available. Now, why would we want to use articles that have references available? Well, if an article has references available and that article you found to be very helpful, then the sources that article uses can actually help you in your research, so you can actually look up those sources. But for now, we'll just leave the reference available unchecked. Actually, let's go ahead and check it and see if it narrows the search results down even further. 3. So let's start with 3. 3 is a lot easier to sift through. So let's look at the first one. What trick will serve him? Possible source for Poe's Cask of Amontillado. So this, I am gathering, is going to talk about what inspired Poe to write the cask. Then we have just Poe's Cask of Amontillado and Poe's Cask of Amontillado, both by different authors. So let's just go into number 2. You can see that you have access to HTML full text and you also have a PDF version. I always recommend using the PDF version. The reason is when you download the PDF version, it will actually have the original page numbers, and you're going to want to have those original page numbers when you cite this source in your paper. So if we look at the PDF full version, you will notice if we go scroll down, Poe's Cask, you notice that there are the page numbers of the original source, and so that's a good thing. If we go back, we can always go back and to the HTML. And you'll notice that it is also listed here, HTML. You'll also notice that some of the articles in EBSCOhost will actually play the article for you and you can listen to it. Sometimes that's really good when you're doing other things. You can still listen to the article. So this is the HTML version, which is a good version, but remember, you always want to make sure that you have the original page numbers if available. So you'll notice also that over on this side there's several things you can do with this article. You can print it, you can email it to yourself, you can save it. You'll notice it says cite, and we'll look at that in 1 second. You can create a note, you can share it, you can listen, and you can translate. So let's go to cite. Click on cite, and you'll notice that it gives the citation for this article in many different formats. You want to make sure that you scroll down to the MLA version. So you would copy, paste this into your works cited. One thing that I do stress is that if you do copy and paste from a library database or a library cite this tool into your works cited, you're going to want to make sure that that citation is actually formatted properly, that it matches up with what the MLA website in Blackboard is telling you to do for that kind of source. If you'll notice here it says the Cask of Amontillado and it's all in caps. Well, we know that in MLA we don't have all caps. We have sentence capitalization. So we will have to change that. But that looks like that's one of few things that really needs to be changed for this MLA citation, but you always want to double check. So that's one database that you can use. Let's look at, let's go back and let's look at database by subject. Especially when you're dealing with literature, you're going to want to narrow the search, and you're going to want to use credible sources about literature. So if we click on databases by subject, you'll notice that there are all kinds of subjects. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see English and English literature. This is where you're going to want to click. And so what that does is it brings up the different databases that deal specifically with literature. So let's just go into Literature Resource Center. And I recommend that you go through each of these databases and search separately with your keywords and your author or your work. So under the Literature Resource Center, you will notice these are all search engines. So it's very important that you know what keyword that you're going to be searching by. So in this case, they give you name of work. So we will do Cask of Amontillado. Person, by or about, we will put Poe, and let's search. You'll notice that there are several tabs across the top. You have literary criticism, which is going to be good for your research, biographies, topic and work overviews, which overviews don't give you as detailed information as you might want, reviews, and primary sources, which more than likely that means that they have the Cask of Amontillado available. So let's look at these sources. The motive for murder in the cask. Now, that might be something that you might want to talk about. You might want to talk about the motive. You might want to talk about other things that deal with Poe and some of the things that he uses in his in a lot of his works. Another one, you could scroll down. Freemasonry. We know that the Freemasons are mentioned in the cask. And then, of course, we have an overview. Also, you want to make sure that there are some articles that are strictly about the author, but the cask could be mentioned in those. So you might want to go ahead and look at those. If we go into, let's go into motive for murder. You will see that we have the full text, and it goes all the way down. It's a pretty long article, so you have your full text, which is in the HTML. If you look over here, you can download an MP3 of it. You can download the article itself, so you can actually listen to this article. It also has a citation tool. So if you click on the citation tool, it will give you the full citation. Once again, make sure that you're double checking double checking to make sure that you are double checking to with the MLA website on Blackboard. So that's just one of the library databases that you can go into. Each of these are search engines. The key to doing good research is to have good keywords. If you go into JustStore, it's another one. You'll notice that you have a search here. You also have the advanced search. Usually advanced search is going to be easier because you can put in different things. You can ask for articles, books, pamphlets, date range, publication title. You can do all kinds of different studies, American studies, art. So it's a matter of knowing what you're looking for and how to narrow those things down. So that's just an overview of how to use the library databases. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me and have fun researching.